In the wind-scoured, fog-shrouded expanse of the Bering Sea, where the water is a breath away from ice and the sky is a permanent slate gray, a group of people perfected the art of maritime survival. They are the Unangan, the Aleut people, and for millennia they have called this unforgiving environment home. How did they not only survive but thrive in a world of freezing water, violent storms, and scarce resources? The answer lies in a suite of tools so ingenious, so perfectly adapted to their world, that they represent one of the most sophisticated maritime survival kits ever developed. This is not a story of land-based survival. This is a journey into a world of cold water, of sea mammals, and of the incredible technology that allowed a people to become one with the ocean. We will dissect the complete arsenal of the Aleut sea hunter, from the revolutionary kayak that was an extension of his own body, to the waterproof clothing that kept him alive in the frigid waves, to the deadly harpoons that brought down prey many times his size. This is a masterclass in Arctic maritime survival, taught by the people who perfected it. Tools to trust, skills that last. This is Bushcraft Arsenal. Number 1. The Baidarka, the Aleut kayak. The foundation of Aleut survival, the single most important tool in their entire arsenal, was the kayak, known to the Russians as the Baidarka. This was not merely a boat, it was a second skin, a marvel of hydrodynamic engineering crafted from driftwood and animal hide. A vessel so perfectly attuned to the Bering Sea that modern naval architects still study its design with awe. The Baidarka was the key that unlocked the vast resources of the ocean, allowing hunters to travel long distances, weather brutal storms, and pursue the massive sea mammals that sustained their people. The genius of the Baidarka begins with its unique frame, painstakingly constructed from driftwood, a scarce and precious resource in the treeless Aleutian Islands. Every piece of driftwood that washed up on the shore was a gift from the sea, a precious material that had to be carefully selected, shaped, and preserved. The Aleut craftsmen knew the properties of every type of wood, from the light and flexible spruce to the dense and durable oak, and they knew how to work each one to create the perfect frame. The frame was a complex lattice of wooden pieces lashed together with thousands of knots made from animal sinew. This construction gave the Baidarka a flexibility that rigid boats lacked, allowing it to bend and flex with the waves rather than fighting against them. It could absorb the shock of the violent Bering Sea, making it incredibly resilient and seaworthy. A key innovation in the Baidarka's design was its bifurcated bow, a forked prow that sliced through the water with minimal resistance. This design had several advantages. It made the Baidarka faster and more efficient, crucial for overtaking fast-moving prey like seals. It also helped to part the waves, creating a smoother ride and preventing water from splashing onto the deck. The stern was often truncated or cut off, which further improved its handling in rough seas. The frame was then covered in a waterproof skin, typically made from the hides of several sea lions, meticulously sewn together by the women of the community. The seams were made waterproof with a sealant derived from animal fat. The skin was stretched taut over the frame, creating a lightweight, durable, and completely waterproof vessel. A Baidarka could weigh as little as 30 pounds, making it easy for a single hunter to carry. The hunter did not simply sit in the Baidarka, he wore it. He would slide into the cockpit and seal himself in using his waterproof Gut Parka, which attached to the rim of the cockpit. This created a completely watertight seal, making the hunter and the kayak a single integrated unit. If the Baidarka capsized, the hunter could perform an Eskimo role, righting himself without taking on a drop of water. This was not a trick, it was a fundamental survival skill. essential for anyone who ventured into the freezing waters of the Bering Sea. The Baidarka was not just a means of transportation, it was a weapon, a tool, and a home, all in one. It was the key to the Aleut people's survival, the one piece of technology that allowed them to conquer the most challenging of all environments, the open ocean. The Baidarka was a testament to the Aleut people's deep understanding of the sea, their ability to create a vessel that was not just a tool, but a partner in the dance of survival. Number 2. The hunting arsenal, throwing board and toggle harpoon. To hunt successfully from a lightweight, unstable craft like the Baidarka required not just skill, but a technological advantage. The Aleut hunters developed a sophisticated arsenal of hunting tools that allowed them to project force with incredible accuracy and power. The core of this system was the combination of the throwing board, or atlatl, and the revolutionary toggle-headed harpoon. The throwing board was a simple but ingenious force multiplier. Carved from wood, it was essentially a lever, measured from the hunter's elbow to his fingertips. The handle was custom carved to fit the thrower's hand perfectly, with indentations for the fingers and thumb. At the other end was a spur, usually made of bone or ivory, which engaged a socket in the end of the harpoon shaft. By using the throwing board, a hunter could effectively lengthen his arm, generating a much greater velocity and throwing distance than he could with his arm alone. A skilled hunter could throw a harpoon over 100 feet with deadly accuracy, a feat that would be impossible without the throwing board. The throwing board was not just a tool, it was an extension of the hunter's body, a part of his arsenal that was as important as his eyes or his hands. This was crucial for striking prey from a safe distance before the animal could be spooked by the approaching kayak. The true genius of the Aleut hunting system, however, was the toggle harpoon head. This was one of the most advanced pieces of hunting technology ever developed by a prehistoric culture. The harpoon head, carved from walrus ivory or bone, was not fixed to the shaft. Instead, it was designed to detach upon impact. The head was connected to a long, strong line made of braided sinew or hide, which was in turn connected to the harpoon shaft and often to a float made from an inflated seal bladder. When the harpoon struck its target, the toggle head would penetrate the animal's skin and blubber. The force of the impact would cause the head to pivot or toggle sideways, lodging it securely in the muscle tissue. The head was designed to be much larger than the hole it created, making it impossible for the animal to pull it out. The shaft would then detach and float to the surface, connected to the animal by the line. The hunter could then play the animal, using the drag from the kayak and the float to tire it out, before moving in for the kill. This system was incredibly effective. It allowed a single hunter in a small kayak to successfully hunt massive prey like sea lions and even whales. It was a technology so advanced that it was adopted by American whalers in the 19th century. The toggle harpoon is a testament to the Aleut people's deep understanding of physics, anatomy, and the brutal realities of hunting in the Bering Sea. It was a weapon that was both elegant and deadly, a perfect fusion of form and function. It was the tool that allowed a single hunter to bring down a creature many times his own size, a feat of engineering that is still admired today. Number 3. The Gut Parka, the original dry suit. In the freezing waters of the Bering Sea, hypothermia is a constant and deadly threat. To survive in this environment, the Aleut hunters needed more than just a waterproof boat. They needed waterproof clothing. Their solution was the kamleka, or Gut Parka, a remarkable garment that was the original dry suit, a masterpiece of natural material science. The Gut Parka was made from the intestines of sea mammals, such as seals or sea lions. The intestines were carefully removed, cleaned, and split open. They were then sewn together into a long, translucent ribbon. This ribbon was then fashioned into a lightweight, knee-length, hooded pullover. The seams were sewn with a special waterproof stitch, using sinew thread that swelled when wet, creating an even tighter seal. The seams were often decorated with small feathers or tufts of hair, not just for aesthetic purposes, but also to help shed water. Every detail of the Gut Parka was designed with a purpose, every stitch a testament to the Aleut people's mastery of their craft. The Gut Parka was a marvel of engineering. It was completely waterproof, yet it was also breathable, allowing moisture from the hunter's body to escape. This was crucial for preventing the buildup of sweat, which could lead to a dangerous chill. The parka was also surprisingly durable, able to withstand the rigors of a long and arduous hunt. As mentioned before, the Gut Parka was designed to be worn in conjunction with the Baidarka. The hem of the parka was designed to fit snugly over the rim of the kayak's cockpit. The hunter would pull a drawstring tight, creating a waterproof seal that prevented any water from entering the boat. This system allowed the hunter to remain completely dry, even in the roughest of seas. If he capsized, he could simply roll back up, shake the water off his parka, and continue his hunt. The Gut Parka was more than just a piece of clothing, it was a lifesaver. It was the tool that allowed the Aleut hunters to conquer the cold, to venture out into the freezing waters of the Bering Sea with a confidence and a resilience that was born of a deep and intimate knowledge of their world. The Gut Parka was a symbol of the Aleut people's mastery of their environment, their ability to turn the most unlikely of materials into a tool of survival. Number 4. The Hunting Headgear, the Unangan visor. In the bright, glaring world of the Arctic, where the sun reflects off the water and the ice, protecting one's eyes is not a matter of comfort, it is a matter of survival. Snow blindness, a painful and debilitating condition caused by overexposure to ultraviolet light, was a constant threat to the Aleut hunters. Their solution was a piece of gear that was both a practical tool and a work of art, the Unangan hunting headgear. This was not a hat, but a visor, a long, elegantly curved piece of wood that was worn on the head like a cap. The visor was carved from a single piece of driftwood, and it was often decorated with intricate carvings, painted designs, and the whiskers of a sea lion. The visor was a symbol of a hunter's status, and the more elaborate the decoration, the more successful the hunter. The primary function of the visor was to shield the hunter's eyes from the glare of the sun. The long, curved shape of the visor created a deep shadow, protecting the eyes and allowing the hunter to see clearly in the bright, reflective environment of the Arctic. The visor was also a sound-enhancing device. The curved shape of the wood was believed to amplify the sounds of the ocean, helping the hunter to locate his prey. The visor was more than just a tool, it was a spiritual object. The Aleut people believed that the visor had a soul, and that it connected the hunter to the spirits of the animals that he hunted. The sea lion whiskers that were often attached to the visor were believed to give the hunter the keen senses of the sea lion, helping him to find his prey. The Unangan hunting headgear is a perfect example of the Aleut people's ability to blend art, spirituality, and practicality. It is a tool that is both beautiful and functional, a testament to a culture that saw no distinction between the sacred and the mundane. The visor was a window into the Aleut worldview, a world where the physical and the spiritual were inextricably linked, a world where a hunting tool could also be a work of art. Number 5. The fishing arsenal. While the hunt for sea mammals was the most prestigious and important of all Aleut subsistence activities, fishing was also a crucial part of their survival strategy. The waters of the Bering Sea were rich with halibut, cod, and other fish, and the Aleut people developed a sophisticated toolkit for harvesting this abundant resource. Their fishing hooks were not the simple bent pins of other cultures. They were complex composite hooks, made from a combination of bone, ivory, and wood. The shank of the hook was often carved into the shape of a small fish, a lure to attract the larger fish. The barb was a separate piece, made from a sharp, fire-hardened piece of bone or a sliver of ivory. The two pieces were lashed together with sinew, creating a strong and effective hook. The Aleut people also used a variety of fishing lines made from braided sinew, kelp, or other natural fibers. They had different lines for different types of fishing, from a thin, delicate line for catching small fish in the kelp beds to a thick, strong line for hauling in a massive halibut from the depths. For deep water fishing, they used a special type of sinker, a grooved stone that was attached to the line. The sinker would take the hook down to the bottom, where the big fish lived. They also used a variety of floats, made from wood or inflated bladders, to mark the location of their lines. The Aleut fishing arsenal was a testament to their deep knowledge of the ocean and its inhabitants. They knew the habits of the fish, the locations of the best fishing spots, and the right tools to use for each situation. Their fishing gear was not just a collection of tools, it was a complete and self-sufficient system for harvesting the bounty of the sea. It was a system that was based on a deep and intimate knowledge of the ocean, a knowledge that was passed down from generation to generation. It was a system that allowed the Aleut people to thrive in a world where others would have starved. Number 6. The Barabara, the Aleut house. While the Aleut hunters were masters of the sea, they also needed a secure and well-insulated home on land. Their solution was the Barabara, a semi-subterranean house that was a marvel of thermal engineering. The Barabara was dug into the ground, with a roof made of driftwood and covered with a thick layer of sod. This design used the natural insulating properties of the earth to create a home that was warm in the winter and cool in the summer. The entrance to the Barabara was a small hole in the roof, which was accessed by a notched log ladder. This design trapped the warm air inside the house, and it also made the home easy to defend. The interior of the Barabara was a large open space, with sleeping platforms along the walls and a central fire pit for cooking and heating. The Barabara was more than just a house. It was a community center, a place where families lived, worked, and shared the stories of their hunts. It was a place of warmth and security in a world of cold and danger. It was the anchor of the Aleut community, the place where the stories of the sea were told and the traditions of the people were passed down. Number 7. Bone and stone tools. In a world with no metal, the Aleut people became masters of bone and stone. They could turn a piece of walrus ivory into a deadly harpoon head, a piece of driftwood into a graceful visor, and a piece of chert into a razor-sharp blade. Their toolkit was a testament to their ingenuity, their ability to create a wide variety of tools from the limited materials that were available to them. They used a variety of different types of stone, from the fine-grained chert that was used for making knives and scrapers, to the rough, abrasive volcanic rock that was used for grinding and polishing. They had a deep understanding of the properties of different types of stone, and they knew how to work them with a precision that is astonishing. They also used bone and ivory to create a wide variety of tools, from the needles that were used for sewing their gut parkas, to the awls that were used for punching holes in leather, to the adzes that were used for shaping wood. Their bone and ivory tools were not just functional, they were also works of art, decorated with intricate carvings and designs. They were a testament to the Aleut people's love of beauty, their ability to create a world of color and pattern in the midst of the monochrome Arctic. Conclusion: the Aleut sea hunters were masters of their environment, a people who had achieved a perfect balance between their own ingenuity and the raw power of the natural world. Their tools were not just a collection of objects. They were a complete and self-sufficient system of survival, a testament to a culture that had learned to live in harmony with one of the most hostile environments on Earth. From the revolutionary design of the Baidarka to the simple elegance of the Gut Parka, the tools of the Aleut people are a reminder that the most effective survival technology is not always the most complex. It is the technology that is born of a deep and intimate knowledge of the natural world, a technology that is designed to work with the environment, not against it. What do you think is the most impressive piece of Aleut technology? Let us know in the comments below. And for more in-depth explorations of the tools and techniques of the world's most resilient cultures, be sure to subscribe to Bushcraft Arsenal. See you in the next episode.